Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Coach K here, and wow, the market's been yeah. How you guys feeling? Hope you're doing okay. Don't worry. Always tell you, what goes down comes back up, and it went down fast, and usually that will, equate to things moving back fast too. So don't worry too much. Yeah, Kelvin, pretty insane. Bitmex had $881 million worth of liquidations. I'm trying not to laugh. It's just not funny, but it's just like, oh my God, nervous laughing. That's just brutal. What's up, Michael? How you doing? If you guys are watching for the first time, click that subscribe button, like button if you like it. And yeah, let's get started. So what do you guys think about this liquidation? Do you think that it's kind of insane that there's this many longs and so little shorts? It just feels really crazy, and I'm gonna break down some things for you that I've been talking about in terms of regulations, ETFs today, what the Bitcoin drop meant and what it could mean, the hard fork and how that might potentially have some different sides. How come you don't get many views? You are right up there when it comes to info. I don't know, Matthew. I think because I just need more people to subscribe and like the videos and stuff. You guys know me. I'm not like trying to be like the coolest one out there. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. You guys could help if you'd love to. Share the video, try to get it out, and I appreciate all that nice information from you, Matthew. Joe, nice to see you as well. So what actually happened today, and what's going on? I'm going to tell you guys, I was talking to my buddy Mike, and I was telling him the other day, it's kind of interesting that, we have this BAT pump and this XRP pump. I called Quark Chain, that one pumped, and we've been seeing all these pumps, right? But it's kind of odd because all the other coins, it seems like not very many are really pumping. They're going up a few percent and down a few percent. And I was like, maybe this is kind of starting to feel like a bull trap. And, I was like, it feels like it, but the market hasn't shown that. And then all of a sudden we have this massive downturn. Now, as we know, the CBOE futures ended basically today. And what better for, people coming into the market with Bakkt and Fidelity and all these huge exchanges coming in and money coming in from institutions. What better for them, right? Think about it. The CBOE future ends super low, and when can you buy them? You can buy right now at $5,500. Think about that. Now, if you're someone who's going to go into futures, you're probably like, sweet, now I'm going to buy long. And maybe that was orchestrated and maybe it wasn't. We don't know that, and we can't even speculate on that because we don't know for sure. But that's just something to think about, okay? Now, we had this huge liquidation, but it all kind of coincided with my video, I think it was 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I believe, or yesterday, when I was telling you guys about this system update, okay? And what we saw was, Binance has a system update, and what I was telling you guys was, they're talking a lot about regulations at the higher ups. The inside track are talking about all these regulations and how they're going to coincide with exchanges, and you have Binance's upgrade is complete, everything's good, and then crash, right? You also have the idea of, I don't know if you've seen, some people were getting messages from South Africa that were saying that their IP addresses were no longer supported and they had to withdraw their funds. That was another thing that we were talking about with the regulations coming into exchanges. And then today was the kicker. USDC, a fully regulated token, is added to Binance. And Tether seems to be caught in a noose. So it's quite interesting. Joe, great video you did in your home. You really do support us through this. Hey, don't worry, guys. You have to think long term. That's the problem that we all have, is we think so short term. We forget about crypto is like a long term journey. It's a marathon, right? And we get sucked into those nice pumps, and we're like, yeah, we get all excited and that euphoric feeling, and then we have to calm ourselves down. And that's the whole point with mindset, right? It's all about trying to keep even. When you're up, you're like, yeah. When you're down, you're like, yeah, right? It's kind of the idea. So all these things coincide. We have the hard fork. We have the Binance system upgrade right before the hard fork, which lasts 8 hours, which is an immense amount of time. You have me thinking about these regulations, right? And then you have Tether, which all that, you know, all that around it. And then you have the next day, USDC is listed on Binance. And while they're listing it, they said something really specific about how it's regulated and audited, which is interesting, I find. Because why would they say that? And so that's what I think about when it comes to those things. And something you guys should really think about as to why these kinds of plays happen. Now, that's another really, really big play. And this is what I think is happening, guys. And this is why I think we had a huge dip. And it's obviously like I'm one person, but my fundamental analysis, if you've watched me, is not so bad. So what you're looking at here is a pie chart of Bitcoin Cash blocks by mining. So as you guys know, Rajan got basically taken off after saying that he supported the ABC hard fork and etc., which obviously supports Roger Ver. And then you have the BSV supported by the one and only supposed Satoshi, Mr. Craig Wright. But what you can see here on this chart is 60% of the hash power currently, and I heard it was actually more at this point now, is controlled by Craig Wright. Now I want to tell you guys about why that matters. Here is why this matters. What's up, Quinn? This is why it matters. All Craig Wright, you guys saw, if you haven't, wrote a message or an email over to, Craig Wright wrote an email over to Roger Ver and basically said, I'm the real Satoshi, I'm gonna ruin you, there's no more Bcash. That was interesting. Now, why I find that interesting. He now has 60% of the hash rate, which is interesting. Another really interesting fact, if he manages to get 75% of the hash rate, which is almost available at this point, he can potentially do that. What does that mean for Bcash, BCH? Well, Craig Wright said he's going to end them, right? Well, once he has 75% of the hashing rate, Craig Wright can 51 attack the BCH Bitcoin ABC network, and it can be destroyed. Something interesting to think about, but that is how he could actually do it, and he is not that far away. Just think about that. Bitcoin JV, Joel's vision. Nice, thanks. What's up, Quinn? So now let's get into some other, whoa, what just happened here? Sorry about that. Yeah, let me get into some other stuff. So we have Coinbase here, and we have a chart. Does anyone see what's happened on this chart? Anyone at all? What I can see here is Bitcoin has dropped. Does that suck? A little bit. But one thing we all forget is this. It found support at 5,550, which actually presumably is about the cost to make one Bitcoin currently, which is interesting. Another interesting fact. Bitcoin usually when it drops in threes. As you can see, 1, 2, 3 dips. Another very interesting thing. Usually what happens after Bitcoin dips this far, do you know? It usually recovers, but we'll have some sideways movement more before it. Now here's a really interesting thing. Bitcoin on the daily right now is sitting at an RSI of 19. It hasn't been that low since before the bull run. Let me just repeat that again. The RSI on the daily for Bitcoin is at 19. It has not been that low since before the bull run, much before it, since August 2015. Just want to put that out there, guys. That's something really interesting that has not happened on the daily in any of our dips at any time yet, till now. Does this signify a bottom? Potentially it does. So think about that. Roger Ver has officially announced he will pull hash power from Bitcoin for 1 day via Bitmain. Interesting. Why do you think he did that, Cohen? I'm curious. Give me your thoughts. All right, now I want to talk about some of the other side. So we see the doom and gloom, right? Everyone's worried now. You're like, oh shit, this shit looks bad, right? And obviously, yeah, I can understand why you feel that way, honestly. But there are actually big things coming. And remember, when we see these things happen, it's okay. If Bitcoin is dropping again right now, let's go take a look and have a little Szechuan. So I'm curious where it's gonna bottom at, but I'm curious, I'm pretty sure it's gonna bottom around 48. Okay, 48 looked like the bottom right here. I'm looking at my chart right now, and what I can see here is I have resistance lines drawn over at around 48. So my lines of resistance have been there for quite a long time, and I believe that that's where we're gonna probably dip to if we dip that low. I'm not too worried about where the price is right now, guys. And if you worry about the price too much, it's gonna make you go crazy. So what happened when in 2015 when RSI was at 19? Basically not much over. It took, obviously the market was extremely small at that point, so you can't really compare, but over the course of a couple years, it had obviously increased a lot. You know, in 2 years later, how much was it in August of 2017, right? How much was it now, right? So there's a lot of things. I'm back in the market again. It's been a long time. All right, cool, nice. How's it going, John? So the 2015 idea here is that it started to recover after that. It can't go. RSI, the way it works is once you get to the point of being so oversold, you can't, you know, there's no one buying it, right? So only thing that's going to happen, and now I'm going to tell you why this is going to happen so you can correlate the two things that I've correlated myself. So we have Fidelity Investments aims to release their crypto products by the end of the year. Actually, they said maybe in January. We also have ETH futures coming in January. We also have BACT coming in December. In less than a month, BACT is live. Now think about these things, okay? We have Fidelity, we have BACT, and we have Eris that's coming as well. Now, the more we think about these logically, the more we can understand what's going on. We can see that we have, for example, okay, we have massive amounts of institutions lining up, VCs lining up, hedge funds lining up, getting ready to enter the market, right? We're potentially going to have this ETF approved, but we don't know when. It could be earlier than later, and we haven't been told no. So this could be tomorrow potentially. We don't know for sure, okay? But we have all these things happening, and then we have this huge dip, and we have a lot of the hashing power of Bitmain going towards now either Bitcoin ABC or Bitcoin SV. But what you think happened when Wuhan got taken out? Now they're probably working with Craig Wright to have such an immense amount of hashing power. So when we line up all these factors, and also the RSI being low, and also all these positive things that keep coming over and over again, ask yourself the question, where are we actually going? Because the more we think about where we're going, the less we worry about where we are. So keep that in mind, because we're not in this for a week to become rich. We're not in this, most of us, to become rich. We're in it for fairness, transparency. The money makes up for all the hard work, but it's not about the money. Money doesn't make you happy. And if you think that, you have the wrong mindset, and you should check yourself, okay? You have to do something you're passionate about. It doesn't matter if it's crypto, but you'll get, most of you that watch are very passionate about crypto, and you know where it's going. So never lose the mindset of where we're going to worry about today where we are, because it's not bleak and we're not going to zero and none of that stuff is happening. They've said it a million times. And if you're new to this, you're going to eventually develop this really strong backbone to it, and you're not going to be scared to lose. You're not going to be worried when the price goes down. You're just going to be okay. You're going to know what's happening later. Remember, if you invested 2 years ago into Bitcoin, you'd be up immensely still today. So keep that in mind as well. Keep in mind that we have this Bitcoin cash fork, which potentially is pulling money out of the market. We don't know. Or putting money into certain coins that we don't know. Or the really big point that was made most recently on one of the Unchained podcasts was that maybe it's just the market deciding which coins don't belong, which of these 2,000, and of those 2,000, most likely 1,800 coins are shit coins that don't really belong and don't really have a purpose, right? So keep all these things in mind, right? When you're worried about the market and you see all the positive fundamentals stacking up, when you see these dips like now, once you see the market change, you guys will know what to do now, right? If RSI is super oversold for a lot of different coins, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start placing buy orders on some of my favorite projects, because if they're good fundamental projects, they should come back up in value. Now, this is no way in at all financial advice. This is just what I would do and how I think. Doesn't have to affect you, and it shouldn't. You should make your own decisions, own mindset. Okay, so to recap, we had $881 million, almost $1 billion liquidated on Bitmex, probably more now because it dipped even further, and there's probably people who forgot, probably, I'm guessing. You know, and we have hard fork drama. It potentially is taking hashing power away from Bitcoin. It's potentially causing the market to dip. We have the whole Tether fiasco. We have Binance adopting another stable coin that they say is regulated after a really long downtime, and there's regulation messages going to certain IP addresses. You can start seeing the clearer picture here. Regulation's coming, and it's sooner than you think. So that's it for today. Coach K signing off. You guys have a great day, night, evening, wherever you are. I'll see you guys soon.